and welcome to this video, which is all about opening the chest and just freeing the breath and feeling like we've got much more space in this upper body area. For this sequence, you're going to need a rolled up towel or a rolled up blanket or a small bolster would work, something that we can get this kind of sausage shape going. So we're going to place that at one end of the mat. I'm going to use this to come in between that upper back area and just onto the back of the head. So I'm going to come and lie over that now. So my head will be just on the very end of it. And I'll be able to feel my shoulders just moving down towards the ground, and the arms are going to be alongside the body with the palms facing up so that those shoulders can roll back and open. So we can start this beginning of opening the chest. And you can either have the legs long, like me, or you can bend the knees, bring the feet to the mat. And then just close the eyes for a moment. We're going to spend a couple of minutes here, just letting things open naturally before we start to move. So take a deep breath in, and as you do so, feel the belly, feel the ribs open, maybe feel the chest rise a little, and then exhale out through the mouth and let the shoulders let go and release into the ground. Let's take that again, breathing into the belly, ribs, to the chest, and exhale, sigh it all out. Take one more. And then just start to allow the natural rhythm of the breath just to settle. And use these moments as a chance to just check in with the body, noticing how you're feeling physically, but maybe how also you're feeling in the mind space, in the emotions, the whole self. And gradually you might begin to sense just a bit more of a softening in through the chest and the shoulders, just starting to allow yourself to open. Just taking a few more moments here. And then from wherever you are, just going to slowly roll over onto one side and release that blanket roll. And then just come and lie back down on the back to allow that to kind of resettle and recalibrate. Notice any extra space you have. And then we're going to roll over onto the belly. So that could be as simple as just rolling over. I'm going to come the opposite side. Otherwise I feel like I'm the wrong end of the mat. So coming into Sphinx pose, you want to just lengthen each leg along the mat and then bring the forearms to the mat as well. The elbows are underneath the shoulders. And you're pressing the tops of the feet into the mat. The legs are on, so we're not just hanging out. There's a bit of tension there in the legs. And then just feel like there's a connection between the pubic bone and that little bit at the centre of the rib cage where the two sides of the ribs meet. So there's almost like this slight closing up, like the pubic bone's drawing towards that centre a little bit. So we get a little bit of tone in the belly. Hold that where it is. And then start to draw the shoulders down and slightly back as you then extend the chest forwards. The chest rather than the neck. What will likely happen is the head will tip back. Keep the gaze slightly down and off towards the end of the mat. And this, is quite a charged pose. And with each breath in, can you fill the belly and the chest with breath? And with each exhale, can you feel the very back of the chest? So that little bit of spine at the very back of the heart, just softening and opening, allowing a little bit more. Just taking another couple of breaths here. Just taking a nice soft gaze. And then when you're ready, we're going to press into the hands and come all the way into an all fours position. Now we're going to come into cow pose, so lowering the belly down, lifting the tail up towards the ceiling. And then literally roll the shoulders back. You might want to do that a few times. It's like we're sinking the chest down and the shoulder blades together. And then pressing into those arms to allow the chest to come through. We're just going to pause in this shape and take a couple of breaths. It can be really easy to over dip in the lower back. I have the same problem. So our focus is on this kind of part here. We want to sink it down so the chest can slide forwards. Take one more breath. And the next time you exhale, we'll round the back, come into the opposite. And then inhale to move back in, cow pose. Exhale through to cat. And just keep this cycle going. Really centering your awareness on the chest and that back of the chest, so we can find freedom in both. And then the next time that you find an exhale, we'll come and sink back onto the heels, child's pose, taking the knees wide so we can really lengthen those arms, slide the hands down, lengthen the chest down towards the ground. Maybe the forehead meets the mat. And then perhaps coming up onto the little finger pads so that your hands are a bit like spiders. And again, connecting with that really full breath. So breathing in, not just to the belly, the whole of the abdomen, the back of the body, all the way up to the chest. And then trickle the hands down by the sides and interlace the fingers at the back. Now if the forehead doesn't like being on the ground, then you can lift it up on a couple of cushions or a block or a brick. And so we're interlacing the fingers now, and we're squeezing the shoulder blades together and down at the same time. And then breathe. Breathe into the front of the body. And just releasing those hands. Slowly, slowly coming up to all fours once again. So we're going to do kind of like these barrel roll movements. So very similar to cat and cow in a way, but we're taking, as we come into cow pose, the belly dips down, but we're going to take the belly, the hips, the shoulders over towards the right side and then round up into cat pose and take it over to the left side and then return back to cow pose. But we're kind of circling around. So it becomes a much more whole body movement, and we're getting a little bit more for our money here. And going in the opposite direction, probably be the way that you don't automatically go. And then coming back to just a normal, natural, all fours pose. We're going to take the right arm out to the side, breathe in, open through the chest, reach up towards the ceiling, and then exhale, sweep it through and underneath, coming all the way down, maybe bending the opposite arm, maybe the face comes down. Take a breath. And we press into the left arm. Breathe in, we're going to open it once again. And exhale. Take it through. One more, breathe in. And breathe out. And just pause here. Take the left arm and creep the hands towards the front of the mat if that feels all okay in your body. And breathe into the upper body. So quite often we're saying breathing into the lower body because it's so good for us, into the belly. But for this movement right now, let that breath travel all the way up to the chest. And then that left hand comes down. We'll unravel ourselves. And we'll take this on the opposite side. So the left arm reaches up towards the ceiling as you twist the chest towards the left. And then breathing out, thread it under. Breathing in, unraveling, opening, expanding. And breathing out, threading through. One more. Breathing in. And breathing out. And then we'll pause here on the side of the face, or it could be propped on a cushion. And we'll creep the right fingertips towards the top of the mat. And slowly walk that hand back and come all the way through back to all fours. And we'll walk the hands forwards now, keep the hips over the knees and melt the chest down. So we're keeping the bum lifted. Now, if this feels too intense, bring the forearms across the mat by bending the elbows and rest the head here. But we're keeping the tops of the feet and the shins rooted into the mat wherever we are. And we'll press into the hands, walk them back. Just come and sink back on the heels, roll the shoulders. And quite often tension in the chest, the shoulders and the neck, they're all kind of quite interlinked. So we're actually kind of working all of them. So we're going to take the arms behind us now, interlace the fingers. Draw that fist down, squeeze the shoulder blades together, shoulders moving down, and lift the chest towards the ceiling. Breathe. Staying here, you might want to drop the chin to the chest. And maybe then keeping that chin down. Imagine squeezing the left ear towards the left shoulder. Holding it there. Just for a moment and then swapping sides. And just alternating between the two, mindfully, gently, not forcing anything. You want a nice stretch, of course. You don't want to go beyond your comfort level. And then coming back up, release the hands. Oh, and then roll those shoulders one more time. So we're going to come back down, plant the hands. I'm going to come into downward facing dog or puppy pose, your choice. If you're coming into dog, we're tucking the toes, lifting the hips up and back. And this is a great chest stretch. And I'm going to invite you to paddle through the feet one at a time. And pause here, slight bend in the knees. And think about sending the chest through and between the arms towards the legs. And from here, we're going to lift the right leg as much as you feel able. Take a breath in. And as you breathe out, we're going to have a go at stepping it through and between the hands. Don't worry if that doesn't happen smoothly just now. That's a whole other video. Lower the back knee. In your choice, you can keep the toes tucked or you can release them. And just, we're not really focusing on the hips right now, but just take a few rocks in and out so that you can ease in. And then the knee can come over the ankle. We're going to press into our feet and our back leg. So we can come on up. So we're going to be here for a moment. And again, we're going to take the arms behind us. Now you can interlace the fingers. You could hold on to the forearms and the elbows, whatever works for you. But the intention is for us to roll the shoulders back. And whilst we're pressing into our foundation, we're lifting up through the whole spine. So there's this sense of the tailbones moving down a little bit. So we're not just kind of hanging out, we're using a little bit of strength. So we've got this nice base. And then, without overarching the neck, lift the chest up towards the ceiling. Keep lifting, lifting, lifting. And we'll pause here to breathe into the body. filling up the belly, the ribs all the way up to the chest, maybe into the very nape of the neck. Last breath. And then release the hands back down. And can step that knee back either to table pose or straight back to dog. But have a wiggle wherever you are. And then we're going to come to the opposite side. So from dog or table pose, wherever you are, we're lifting the left leg, three-legged dog or three-legged table. Take a breath in, and then as you exhale, shift the shoulders over the wrists and step that leg through, or have a go. Lower the back knee. And again, just have a little wriggle here if the hips are feeling a bit tight right now. And then when you're ready, we'll press firmly into both legs, both feet. Lift up. And just find your footing. So taking the arms round, and whether you interlace the fingers or held onto the forearms, can you take it in the opposite way? It will feel weird. Squeeze the shoulders down, back and together. And then tailbones pulling down, spines lifting up as we begin to open and lift the chest. Breathe. Breathe in all that space. Breathe out the stuff that you've been holding on to, don't need, let it go. And on your last breath, your last out breath, release the hands. Come and plant them down onto the ground. Step back, re-find your down dog. Take a couple of breaths here. Reset. And then when you're ready, we'll walk the hands towards the feet. Keep the knees bent. And just take a little moment in a ragdoll forward fold. You might want to hold onto the elbows. Just allowing that spine to round and let gravity do its thing. Lengthening the spine downwards, giving you a bit of space in the back body. Maybe having a sway from side to side, releasing the head and the neck. And then real slow, we're going to release the arms and start to just roll up to stand. Roll the shoulders when you get there. Okay. So we're going to come and step into Warrior Two. So if you step the left foot forwards, right leg back, and the left leg is pointing towards the top edge of the mat, and the right foot is kind of pointing in on a bit of a 45-degree type angle. That left knee is bent, and the knee stays over the ankle. So if it wants to roll in, just see if you can really activate those glutes, the upper glute at the top of the hip there, just outwards. And then the chest is going to face the long edge of the mat. So we've got a bit of difference in the bits of the body and which ways they're facing. So that knee is going to stay facing that way, and the chest is going to come and face the long edge. We're going to take our arms nice and wide. So sweep them out, take a breath in. And as you breathe out, we're going to come and close the palms of the hands to touch. And we're going to repeat that, breathing in. And there's a little bit of a lift of the chest, a little bit almost back bending. Allow the palms to face upwards. Then as you exhale, the palms come down and together. And again. And again. And this time we're going to open. We're going to take the arms all the way around and interlace those fingers again. We're going to keep the legs where they are, but we're going to turn our chest towards almost kind of the top kind of corner, right hand corner of the mat. Squeeze the shoulder blades together and the shoulders down the back. Lift the chest up, send it forwards, breathe in. And as you breathe out, bow down. Breathe in to come back up, lift the chest. And breathe out. Last one, keeping that bend in the knee. And release the hands and step the feet together and shake them off. I know that thigh will have been talking to you. Well, it was to me. So we're going to go opposite side. So this time we're stepping the right foot forward, left foot back. And the right foot is pointing towards the short edge of the mat, and the back foot's just on that kind of diagonal line. Chest comes to face that long edge of the mat. And if you need to pause at any point to get your footing or to revisit something, then do. So from this nice stable position, breathing in, open the arms nice and wide. And breathe out, close. Breathing in, open, lift the chest, take the palms up towards the ceiling. And as you breathe in and open, be sure that it's the chest lifting and not the neck. My head's going with the action, but my neck isn't going back. Last one. And this time as you breathe in, open, and take it all the way around, interlace the fingers, squeeze the shoulders together and down, and turn the chest towards that top left-hand corner of the mat now. Breathe in, lift the chest, send it up towards the sky, and breathing out, melt it down. Breathing in to lift, breathing out to kind of ripple down. Last one. Going all the way up. Release the hands and step the feet together and then just shake it off. So let's take a little bit of a salutation from standing. Standing about hip width apart unless you feel like you want to go a bit wider. A nice long posture, breathe in, sweep the arms high. Lift the chest. So there's a little bit of a back bend and we're bringing the palms to face each other. And then as you exhale, take the arms down and all the way back as you round the back. As you breathe in next, we're going to lift halfway. Place the hands onto the thighs, roll the shoulders back. Lift the chest almost towards the top end of your mat. Neck is long. Breathe out to fold down. Breathe in, sweep the arms high. Lift the chest towards the ceiling. And then Bring the palms to touch, exhale. Let's take that one more time. Breathe in, lift the chest upwards, chest, not throat. And exhale, take the arms down, around the back, send the arms all the way up if you can, back and up. And then as you inhale, slide the hands to the tops of the thighs, roll the shoulders back, lift halfway. And breathe out to roll down. Breathing in, take the arms high and wide, lift the chest upwards, spread through the fingers, and exhale, plant the palms. And releasing those hands. Come and stand on your mat still, but place the hands on the lower back. So we're just going to take a little standing back bend. You want your feet firmly planted. You might find it easier to do this with feet a little bit wider apart. It's up to you. Maybe keep the knees a little bit soft, so you don't want them locked out here. You want a little bit of a softness. Imagine that the two sitting bones are pointing down to the ground. And then push the hips forward. Squeeze the elbows together. Move the shoulder blades down the back. And then from this space, with the hips pushing forwards, start to lift the chest up towards the ceiling. Hold and breathe all the way into the chest. Last breath. And then slowly return to centre. Let go of the arms and just come and have a little swish and a sway. So we're going to come onto the back, one final move. So come and bring yourself into this constructive rest pose. I'm going to take the right arm down to the ground, outstretched like a T shape. And then we're going to come and bring the knees over to that right side in a kind of like a right angle pose. And what will happen for a lot of people is the left shoulder will lift. So let's come and bring that arm over to meet the right. And then breathe in as you open it back all the way out. And then exhale to come and close it back up again. In fact, I'm going to use my little blanket roll. I suggest you do the same for the head. So we're inhaling to open. Exhaling to close. Now at some point, you might want to just stay open. And then you might also want to almost shimmy the right shoulder over towards the right side a little bit more to allow you that opening. And if the left shoulder is hovering, that's okay. You can always pop a block or a blanket or a cushion underneath just to give you enough support, enough to release. So here, let's connect with the breath. Breathing in to the whole of that left side that's open. Think of the left rib cage and the left side of the chest. And it might feel that it's a bit restricted, and that's okay, that's normal. But when we release, we hopefully might have created a bit of space. And then slowly come and bring the feet and the legs back to centre. We're going to take it over to the opposite side. So the knees go over to the left and just let the right arm come with you to land on top of the left. And just get the legs in that kind of right angle position. And then we'll begin on this side. So breathing in, just that right arm lifting up and over. Keep the legs where they are. And exhale to come back. It doesn't have to come right the way to the floor, so don't worry if that's not the case. We're breathing in to open, moving towards that right side. Breathing out to close. And if it feels right in your body the next time that you open, stay open. Shuffle that left shoulder over to the left side a bit more to allow yourself a little bit more space. And then see if you can breathe into this side. Breathing into the right chest, ribs, maybe even the hip. And really slowly just bringing those legs back to centre. Take your time. And then perhaps just taking a few moments to let that settle. You might want to stretch the legs out, allow the palms to face up. And as you do so, really draw the shoulders down again so they're really away from the ears so that we can open through the chest even more here. Take a deep breath in if you wish. And sigh it out. Take one more. Breathing into belly, both ribs. And all the way up to the chest. And then just let it go. Let the whole body go now. And just allow the chest to rest. Whole of the middle of the body just relaxing, releasing. Just giving yourself a couple of minutes to reset. Closing the eyes if you haven't already. If you can afford an extra minute or two, then by all means take them. Otherwise, just starting to wriggle through fingers and toes. Taking a stretch and a deeper breath before rolling to one side and pressing back up to a seat. and blinking open whenever you're ready. Thank you so much for taking the time. Hope you have a great rest of the day, and I'll see you soon.